Have you guys talked about THCA on the show at all? Because I just found out about that.
We used to have a sponsor for THCA. All the whole gamut of all the THC variables, but THCA was in there. And I think that, Kyle, that's probably what you're buying at the dispensary, right? THCA, or at the legal dispensary in Georgia.
I think they may have made it illegal in Georgia, actually.
What?
It just got legalized in Texas, and I think we may be on the same path that Georgia is. I better get it while the getting's good. So for those of you
I smoke THCP now because that's the strongest.
What is that?
THCP is 25 times more psychoactive than regular marijuana. THCP is $60 per half gram.
That's too much. Not the money, the power. That's not an enjoyable amount of.
It's a little magic wand that you buy for $60. you puff on that thing, and it's whoa. What was that? That's a real drug. I wasn't prepared.
That's like hitting like 5 or 10 dabs at once. That's like you're going to a whole other dimension on weed.
It doesn't feel that way. Dabs are this other thing. Like whenever dabs is this like punch in the face of intensity, but this is a creep up on you and like, whoa, I didn't know I was smoking that kind of thing. And it lasts way longer than anything else does. That's not what I'm smoking right now. This is a little milder. I think this is, it's a blend of Delta 8 and THCH maybe. And then
I have questions about the THCP we were talking about. How long does it take to come on? Like you said, it sort of comes on slowly, but I wanted more. And how long does it last?
I don't know. With like I'm a different use case because I puff these all the time.
It's vape?
But yeah, it's a vape. It's a little disposable vape. I wish I had one. I've got like my old like junk pile of like empties here, but I don't have one in there.
Vapes, but seconds, right?
Yeah, more or less. But this, it's so subtle that it's like I don't know. It's kind of like when you're sitting and you're drinking and you've had like 3 or 4 drinks and you stand up and then you realize how impaired you are. That's kind of how that stuff is. It's real strong. But yeah, they say it's 25. That's what this chart says. It's 25 times more psychoactive than just regular THC marijuana. I don't know if that's true, but it's definitely the strongest thing available here. But yeah,
and
we legalized
last? Like 30 minutes, 90 minutes?
Probably hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. But like I don't like hit it and then put it away and wait 2 hours. Like I'm playing video games, so I'm zoned out, like playing Oblivion, hacking and slashing.
Right?
Yeah. I'm slash, boom, boom, hack, shield, boom, boom. I'm mixing
Google to see if this is just an annoying puzzle in the quest, or I've run into a bug. Shit, it's a bug. I shouldn't have spent 10 minutes trying to. Have you done that yet in this game? Where like I was running around for probably 20 minutes in a dungeon. And I was also high late at night playing. And I was like, man, you're smarter than this. There has to be a way through. It's a fucking Oblivion dungeon. And I kept running and backtracking. And then finally I like Googled and immediately see a bunch of Reddit suggestions in the Google search of like, anyone else totally stuck here? And it's like, yeah, the gate you're supposed to go through won't open. You have to do this and reload a save and then try it. And so I did, and I'm like, yeah, it's not me that's stupid. It's the game.
I always do that with games. I'm always afraid I'm going to make like an unchangeable mistake as well because it's an RPG. But yeah, it's very strong. So you're thinking Texas might make THC? I keep
ACE for acetate. Yeah. So you'll love this shenanigan. They can sell hemp and a variety of products that don't have THC Delta 9 because it's under a certain amount for the Farmville, blah, 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 blah. Well, somebody discovered that immature plants in the process to becoming happy little buds make THCA, the A standing for one acetate molecule that's attached to the end. And over the life cycle of the plant, as it's exposed to sunlight or heat in a vaporizer or smoke, it instantly, that acetate molecule breaks off and it turns into regular old THC, like we know and love. So all you have to do is harvest your plants about a month early before they've had that opportunity to turn the A into regular. And that's it. You can just sell it. So there's all these dispensaries here in Texas, including the Pine Park, which has amazing weed, by the way. But all these dispensaries here now can get access to THCA by harvesting the plants early, and their customers get the exact same benefit of regular THC. It's pure shenanigans, in my opinion. It reminds me of the sort of circuitous logic you use for like gun regulation for certain little picky things. So
yeah, that's good. Whatever gets closer to just total weed legalization is good. And in the meantime, any sort of loophole they can find is good. Unless it's like the spice loophole from when I was like in high school and college, where it's like, don't smoke weed, smoke this satanic dust. Like that's just, or this satanic spray that's like sprayed on a piece of plastic. Or
stuff's popular in prison.
Plant.
It'll send you into seizures and all sorts of bad things. It's not marijuana. The THCA was real popular here maybe 6 months ago. I was buying lots of it and smoking. I was like, what the fuck? We got legal weed here now. This is just legal weed. Right? And they got at the dispensary, they explain it the way you did. Like, look, right now it's legal. When you heat it up, it becomes illegal. But you've smoked it, so it's gone. It's like, and it's really similar to the explosives laws with tannerite. How like you've got a binary compound. You had your aluminum dust and your ammonium nitrate, and those individually are innocuous legal ingredients. But as soon as they're combined, you have an explosive. But you detonated it, so it's gone. And there's that was their way around that as well. But yeah, they made it illegal here in Georgia. I don't know. Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, because I remember at my dispensary, he was like, get it while you can, because this is the last of it. And technically, I'm not even supposed to have this, but the other dispensary across the street has ratted me out. Like he was still selling it after it went illegal. And the other dispensary was like, hey, what are you doing, bro? You can't be selling that. You know better than that. You want me to rat you out? And it's like, dude, what the fuck? No honor amongst dispensary owners,
amongst drug dealers.
It's a cutthroat business out there, and it's also interesting to see how different dispensaries compete. So here in Texas, I'll compare to Pine Park. They're very premium. They're about the smoking experience, these great terpenes, big puffy buds, everything's beautiful and like amazing. That's sort of their business model to get that high-end crowd. But when I started researching, I found a whole bunch of different like segmentation, all the way down to people that were growing, honestly, not the greatest quality THCA, but they would sell it to you dirt cheap, like lower than because it was just excess bud. So you could just buy the cheap stuff and smoke it if you wanted to, which is really not the worst thing in a state where that's illegal. But as long as the fancy ones are here, we're going to get the big, lush, amazing.
What's your guys' guess on when your respective states, you have to put a year on it, are going to go full bore and join the land of the free like the great state of Missouri?
No time soon.
Totally. That's what I would have said about Missouri.
I'm going to say 2044.
44? Maybe. No way it takes that long. No way.
We've been arresting college students for having Delta 8 here. They've literally arrested college students because they had a Delta 8 pen, and that's very technically still illegal. And the whole thing, if I bought it at a store, just didn't matter when they wanted to throw the book at the kids. It's not very enforced. That doesn't happen often. But the state of Texas has it set up in such a way to where tomorrow they could just change enforcement laws and legal cannabis options disappear. So the enforcement is solely up to their discretion, and it's purely an ideological battle, which is depressing. I think there's a lot of, Texas is very conservative. There's a lot of Republicans here in Texas that are very much so on board with cannabis legalization because that's more of a libertarian ideal and it makes money and stuff. But then we have the really more religious conservatives and the ones probably like 70, 80 plus that don't like cannabis because they didn't grow up with it or they had propaganda about it. That crowd is very much so. It's a sin. It's bad. It's addictive. It kills people and all sorts of silly nonsense. So I'm hoping that over the next couple of years, we get less of the ideological bans and more of the people that would like to make tax revenue.
Yeah, Missouri made a bananas amount of money with weed because they also did something smart and made it so that I guess the tax on it is lower here than a lot of other states. And I think they really did that is because they knew that Illinois took the opposite route, where Illinois taxes you to fucking kingdom come on weed. Like, it's absurd how expensive it is. And so now a bunch of people in the legal state of Illinois just drive over the bridge to the legal state of Missouri and buy their weed here. And so, and also you get now weed tourists from the 7 other states that we border, none of which other than Illinois have weed. It's apparently been a huge boon for Missouri to be the first Midwest state to actually be like, you know what, we're doing it, and we're not going to do the Illinois horse shit of like, weed's legal, 60% tax, and it's like, oh,
that's
fuck
a
you.
lot.
Or it's something absurd.
When I went to Illinois has legal weed, obviously, and I've driven up there a couple times, like several years ago, to just do a little smokecation. It's only like a 12-hour drive, so head on up there. And the first dispensary across the border is like hopping. It's like they've got the market cornered. I think they're the only one in that little town, and it is huge. And there was a line outside to get in I was there when it opened, and there was a line outside, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was so busy. I don't know what to compare it to as far as the busyness level, but it was hopping. So it's definitely big business. I don't know when Georgia's going to legalize it. Georgia's a weird purple state, right? Like we voted for Biden and then Trump. And then also you've got Atlanta that's very blue and very black. And then the rest of the state that's very red and very white. And so it could go either way. I don't know.
Also, rural versus urban is important there. Similar thing in Texas. Almost all the cities are, not all, but most of them are blue, and most of the rural areas are red. That just tends to be how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Well, there's no way it takes till 2044. Like those 80-year-olds who are against it aren't going to be. They'll be long gone before that. Like. In mass, the boomers are dying a lot.
If Florida legalized or someone around
they did.
They've got medical
legal weed. But it's like I have depression, and then you get your weed.
It is.
Florida will beat either of your states to like the recreational thing, I think, because they seem to have more of like a kind of do what you want idea.
They've been trying to take steps backwards rather than forwards. And what's the governor down there? He's famous. What's his name?
DeSantis.
DeSantis is Florida. Abbott is Texas.
Yeah,
the guy with the pumps.
About it.
Yeah,
have you seen him with his little lifts?
With his cowboy boots with like 4 inches of empty shoe towards the end of it. It's all folded up and bent. What a goober
Abbott's
that
in the chair,
is.
right?